Hello everybody, this is Rob Gauthier, the ET Whisperer. I want to welcome all of you guys to the October Pleiadian Pulse. We've been doing this every month. We bring in Ardif and ask him to connect with the energies of what's going on in the next month. For those of you who haven't watched the Pleiadian Pulse, basically every month he just talks about the upcoming month and what the natural energies for Earth are. So he doesn't say, hey, this is going to happen at this time of this month. What he tells you is the energy for the collective and what you can use for your energy to kind of strengthen the possibilities. So when he talks about it, he says what might happen with certain collective issues, but he's talking about the underlying energy. And what it does is it helps us in our daily life use the strong energy that's there. And then anytime there might be resistant energy, we're prepared for that and we can work through that too. He always also mentions that this is a collective energy and that energy doesn't dictate what can or can't happen to you. Obviously, a strong positive energy can help you flow towards something a little easier, and resistant energy, you can prepare yourself for that too and kind of connect to where the energy might be a little harder, but get through that with the understanding of how you interact with it too. So it's a very important thing, and I really like doing these monthly things, and I want to continue doing them as long as they're helping people and as long as they're assisting people through their journey. So please, in the comments, let us know if you like these Pleiadian Pulses, if it's your first time watching them, and if you think that it's exciting enough for us to keep doing. So I want all of you to enjoy yourselves, have fun, and we'll bring in Ardif to talk about what's going to happen here in October. Love you guys, and we'll see you on the other side.
Greetings to all, this is Ardif, that is A-R-I-D-I-F, and this is its spell. We understand all of you desire to know more about your upcoming time period of October in your time collective, and the energy for the Pleiadian Pulse as it is done through Rob's own creation. And through this construct we will share many things about the time coming in the period of October and the separate and segregate waves of energy that are included and involved with such things. But before diving in to this construct, there are two things that we wish to express. The first, above and beyond all things that are expressed in this day, to know, to feel, and to perceive that you are loved and our perspective is of the utmost importance. Secondly, it is our greatest excitement to co-create with all of you in this way, and it's not only our greatest excitement in this moment, but throughout all moments of your linear time perspective. Now, before speaking of the October energy, we must express what we have expressed throughout all of the Pleiadian Pulse engagements. That is, first, this is not a prediction of what will and shall occur within this time frame of October. In fact, it is only a simple understanding of the collective energies native to Earth and the cycles in which they are experienced. There are two separate cycles that the majority of humans fall. The first wave is that which falls in the direction and in the alignment with how and where we share this monthly time frame, and of course the second wave, averagely 5 to 7 days after the first wave. The second wave will come and fall into the precessed form and time frame. So for all of you who are going through the first week in the first wave, once you go to the second week, then the second wave will start where the first week started for all of you, so it is quite staggered in that way. We also wish to inform the construct of what energy resistances are within this time frame, as well as resistantlessness for all of you. By understanding and knowing, as Rob has expressed, it is much easier for you to understand and navigate with your own intuition, insight, and your own conscious integration as you work within yourself, but as well as co-creating with others. Now, before diving into this construct, yet again, there's a construct we must share. As all of you know, we have shared for many years that in this time of your collective consciousness, the systems that humans understand are being pushed to the limit of its understanding. It is pushed to the limit in which you find whether these systems are not only perceivable by you, but are worthy of your collective. If systems that are going through your collective are not worthy of the entire collective, then of course it must have pressure in order to show where the faults of those systems are and to retain the places where the strength of these systems reside. What systems do we speak of in that way? All systems that are part of your co-created collaborative form of the collective consciousness. The first system is a governmental system. All of you understand that governments in different parts of the world operate in different ways, but there's a great similarity through governmental structures as it pertains to the human collective consciousness. They are either suppressive in order to make humans work in certain systems or in certain ways that benefit that small collective of governmental agencies, or the government gives insight, strength and freedom to their people, and these systems are required to be tested. Most of you understand, in places where English is spoken, in regions of the world where you yourselves hear this very specific message, most of your governmental structures are meant to persuade you into a certain ideological standpoint or a certain way of living, even so much as to try to suppress certain levels of your freedom, your sovereignty, your expression as a human being. So of course these systems have been within the pressure cooker of consciousness for your collective for some time, showing you all the faults, showing you how broken the systems are, and this is a requirement for all of you in order to create new systems. What other systems are we speaking of in that way? Your educational systems, your medical systems, your collaborative community systems, all systems that are part of the greater collective consciousness must be pressurized in order to maintain or to break down and rebuild into the way that offers sovereignty and collectivism for the benefit of all. Now, when we express collectivism, we do not mean so much so as it wipes the identity of each human out of your experience. What we do mean is the way that human consciousness works in third density. The expression is all to find sovereignty, individuality, the consciousness of individualism inside of each and every person mastered, understood, perceived, and explored deeply in that way. The beginning of fourth density requires all of those of you who know your individuality, who know yourself truly, to then start working to connect yourself to others. So what we mean by collectivism is sovereign entities learning to work with one another despite those differences. So now we go into October, form a plate impulse as it were. The construct of your first week and overall themes are about the systems at play. As you notice at the end of your last month and time period, a great deal of revolution has gone on across the entirety of the globe. You see humans as individuals and groups standing for their sovereignty, standing so that the governmental agencies that oversee and suppress them are told with great voice and unity that you cannot suppress us as a group any longer. some countries so far as to rebel against their own governmental structures because of the energy of suppression that they are faced with. Many humans perceive those that work within the governmental structures, those that work in the government agencies, are enriching themselves. Companies, corporations, or entities that are attached to them. They are using governments in order to create laws and systems to enrich those that change laws for corporate benefit or for the structure of that collective benefit. All those that are not in that very small echelons are feeling not only suppressed, but alleviated from the energy of anger. So sharing your frustration, sharing your energy, will expand your own way of thinking, your own consciousness, and not be simply given poverty, suppression, removal of freedoms, as it were. So in this system for your first week, there's a strengthening of the energy of revolt. There's a strengthening of those that feel deeply about the subjects that affect their own personal experience and speak greatly to those energies. With this comes great deals of conflict. Some conflict that has already been started becomes expanded further. Other conflict becomes a part of simple understanding in the human collective. Even those who are not speaking out are able to perceive and witness. Those sovereign beings speak forward, and it ignites a certain part of their own excitement to speak their own truth. Now, of course, because there is resistance in the greater collective, because the mentality and the mental processes of most humans experiences anger and release that anger with violence, there may be violence that is more expansive in that way. But we also wish to share with all of you who understand you are the masters of your own creation, that if you utilize violence as a means to express your anger, you are only committing violence upon other parts of your consciousness. Now, we do not mean that the person sitting next to you, as you ride in the subway, the person walking next to you on the street, the person sitting next to you at work, is not their own individual entity. We do not mean that at all. What we mean is that they are living in their own universal construct, and you are part of their construct. But the you that is you is experienced only through your aspect of consciousness, perceptive energy, and the entity that is you is quite separate and experiences completely outside of that other entity. The version of you that they experience is a projection of their own consciousness alone. Similar to your video game rendering. When an entity is outside of your vision, outside of your connection through internet, video, audio, or simple engagement in writing format, they are not projecting any version of your consciousness when they think a thought of you. They are projecting a thought, energy form. That is a projection of their version of you in the consciousness. This means when you are hurting physically other human beings, you are quite literally harming a part of yourself. This is why we have expressed that violence is a part of your Earth collective consciousness. But if you act upon that violence, you are truly only harming yourself. Utilizing words as a form of sharing, utilizing actions, not in what you disdain, not against what you hate, but in the voice of that which you love, in the voice of that which is truly exciting and engaging to you, acting to build the reality that you desire. These are the actions that do not harm yourself, but expand yourself, and in the first week, the intensification process of this occurs also. As you are going through this experience in your first 7 to 10 days of that month, old relationships may resurface to you. Humans who you have not spoken to for weeks, months, or years may reappear in strong ways. They may share with you some insights that they have had. You may see the energy of them starting to work to heal themselves, even if not seen previously. This is a reminder to yourself that there are old parts of your energy that also require healing. This is why the collective consciousness manifests outward in such powerful ways. Perhaps a rebellion is seen just as a rebellion to all of you, but in a collective sense, it is a part of the entire Earth collective consciousness that is imbalanced and requires rebalancing. So the form of energy that it takes requires healing parts of the old wounds. When healing does not occur in that way, but suppression occurs in your now moment, this is why humans often react in that very violent way, or a very visceral way that takes you more outside of yourself. Then what reflection and self-change and self-work will? Also, within that first 7 to 10 days, building upon ideas in creative formats will be an important part of the third week and how that manifests. Now, going into the second week of time, you will notice that some of these great revolutions will start resolving themselves or resolve very quickly in a way that was not expected. There becomes a resolution with that collective form, so inside of you, all the things that have frustrated you with fears, feelings, and levels of suppression may wind up simply being solved without a great deal of your effort, as a simple part of those energies having run their course of why they existed with you in the first place. Most of you who are mentally attached to those energies or attached to the experience of feeling beat up over and over again will not be able to let them go in that time. What we suggest, if there are personal feelings that certain things in your own life have been suppressed, or if you've been limited in some way, try not to focus upon that energy in this upcoming month. Simply think about all of the actions that you can take to alleviate those feelings of suppression. Work on the pain and the traumas that are in your previous part of this life that have caused you to react so negatively to that feeling of suppression. What in that suppression do you feel is relevant? Why do you feel it is a strong level of suppression? And work to alleviate these forms of energies. Now, as you go from the second to third week, the second wave starts with the first to second week, and onwards staggered within approximately a 1 week time period. Now, going into the third week, remember that what you were working to create, an ideal, a connection, a relationship, an aspect of your work, an aspect of your excitement, focus on that which is practical forms of resolution for those things. What small steps can you take to help create the project you desire, the relationship, the co-creation, the experience overall? And as you go from the second to third week on the first wave of humans, of course, the manifestation pathways become much more clear. What you will notice is that all of the steps that you have taken in the last 2 weeks, first ideologically and mentally, second week actively engaging simple processes, the third week heavy processes, making finite plans, putting deep action into those energies, focusing on the specifics of the manifestation outcome desire. Now, as we have shared with all of you, manifestation does not do well if it is limited. If you express, I desire for a project to only come out this way, you'll find that project either failing or only coming out that way, with a higher probability of failing. But if you express, I desire this project to be fun, yes, I do desire certain specific energies from the project. If it is a project on, for example, traveling, then of course you would project a construct of traveling. But if you express by traveling, I must do all of these certain things in my own travel, then of course anything outside of those very specific things may fail, but instead you express in that way, I simply desire to travel and to have fun. Lighten the specifics, be open to the more generic, simply be excited about doing things that excite you. This is the firm steps to take in the third week as the manifestation in approximately the 20th to 24th begin to open and start becoming more manifest in front of you, if not completely manifest in that way. You'll also notice in the third week certain levels of those revolutions begin to explode in large and uncomfortable ways, while others are either being resolved or already have resolved. And the reason for this is that the collective consciousness is in a fury to rebalance that of structure. Although you understand the entirety of this year, part of next year, is very deeply integrated into the consciousness of rebalancing all systems, financial, all systems, political, all systems, educational and medical. That this specific upcoming month is a very pivotal moment for that. Be mindful with the energy that you put into the collective for the larger things. And very careful for your personal manifestational energies and desires. Work in those waves. Open that creative level of excitement. Understand what you desire in a basic way. Now, if you are politically minded, you may say, I only desire for this part of the system to change and for this to change in this way. I only desire certain party members. I only desire certain aspects of the constitutions or documents of law to be manifest. But if you are open in a general sense, I desire sovereignty. I desire freedom. I desire love. I desire abundance. And for those that resist, and those that suppress, and those that mean to rule over in negative ways, systems to be removed from my own experience, this is an easier manifestational quality to create in a collective sense and in personal. And for the final week in October, the energy shifts greatly towards a more autonomic form. As autumn enters the expression, as autumn becomes more visceral and real for all of you, a physically form of seeing the fall, or the spring in the southern hemisphere, you're creating that desire of energy. Some of you with systems of old starting to be removed, some of you in the spring form of energy, new systems to be created, to manifest in a certain expression. but all of you focusing on the change that is vitally important for the fourth week manifestation occurs. A great deal of new systems will be starting in certain places in the world, certain aspects of new governmental ideologies, of new expressions of those ideologies, systems of governance, systems of finances. Certain countries will start opening those new systems or start seeing seeds that are planted. Now all of you are aware, we have spoken of the 3 Atlas form consciousness. We believe that Rob has simply released this very soon, if not already by the time that we have shared in this way. So understanding this plays a part of the collective in receiving greater signals. All of you who are interested in contact has to occur after the systems that do suppress are revealed. If you have your eyes open to what resistance lies within these systems, and the changes that can occur, and the personal ways that you can implement changes without the greater systems failing or changing, in your local forms of community, you will perceive that great deal of energetic shift throughout. We wish to express to all of you as you go through this month of October, remind yourself, this is a very important time for changes and shifts to start occurring, and you will see the ripples throughout the rest of this year into the beginning of your next year. This is the time to place your own excitement, your own vision of what you desire for the future, in a generic sense out into the collective, and be open into how it is created back by the collective. Systems that you may never perceived previous in your imagination, mind, or through co-creating with others. But being open to that is a very strong opportunity to help manifest that in a collective act upon that which is closest to your home and community in the way that will benefit you and others. Open the energy to release suppression, open your sovereignty in that way. And the energy of your collective will be supportive. We wish to express to all of you that as we have co-created with you, we look at parts of your energy and parts of your collective we have never perceived previous to this moment. As we perceive parts of you that we have never perceived, we perceive parts of our own self that we have never perceived. This means you are growing through co-creating and interacting with our own selves, and we are growing and expanding as you do, because all of us truly are one. We congratulate all of you for your growth, and of course we thank you for growth as well. We wish to bid all of you adieu for this day, knowing not only are you loved, but we love you as well. Adieu.
Hey everybody, Rob Gauthier, the ET Whisperer. I hope you guys enjoyed the Pleiadian Pulse, and I just wanted to let you guys know there is just a little over 40 days left until we get to the channel panel in West Virginia, November 14, 15, 16. If you haven't seen anything about the channel panel, you can go to thechannelpanel.com. We've got Daryl Anka, Wendy Kennedy, Pamela Erleon, Jamie Price, myself. We have Julia Cannon, we have JJ Brighton, we have Lisa Wetzel, we have Georgia Jean, we have Sandrine Seven Young, we have my buddy Tyler Ellison, we have Roger Burnley, we have Marilyn Harper, we have Neil Gar, we have a bunch of amazing channelers and presenters. And if you want to know more, check it out. There are online tickets, there are in-person tickets, and you can get workshops if you come in person West Virginia is very close to a lot of places. People kind of think of West Virginia as out of the way, but it's literally less than a 10-hour drive from most of the big populated cities on the East Coast and the Midwest. So if you're in the area and you want to check it out, but you thought it might be too far, go to the website and check it out. Go to the travel tab, look at all of that. Go watch the video that I released answering all the questions, or go to the website, thechannelpanel.com. Love you guys. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you for supporting the ET Whisperer. I'll see you guys on the other side.